Goes Hollywood. This is Top Rope Spoilers with subsidiary of On the Ring Apron. I'm Steve.
And I'm Kia.
We've got Alyssa running the camera.
Hey y'all.
We're going to make that her new catchphrase
Dear
on a
Lord.
t-shirt.
Hey y'all.
But you know, this is the night we all think about. This is the night that we plan for, the Super Bowl of our sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. It's WrestleMania, which we always know is a night, or I guess now nights, that we look forward to. First of all, shout out to the Weeknd. 4th year in a row, he gets the WrestleMania theme song. This year, Less Than Zero. Thank you again. It's like the 5th or 6th Weeknd song we've gotten to use over our time doing this. So he finds his way onto our shows pretty often. But thank you again for giving us permission to use it.
I don't know of any other person, any other artist who can do 4 or 5 years in a row, but the Weeknd has managed to do it. He's got smash hit bangers, and it makes the show that much greater. So thank you again.
And, you know, as our message showed up there, you know, a shout out to all our supporters. We're closing in on 4,000. You know, we're 2 away, I think, at the time of this recording. We've been 2 away for like 3 days. So, you know, I'm sitting there just watching it like Sheldon watching the emails, you know, and the viewer count for his Fun with Flags.
Neither here nor there.
But either way, we know we'll get there at some point. But the fact is, it's supporters like you guys that allow us to be able to do what we get to do. We get to go on the fun trips. We are literally less than 12 hours from being on an airplane on our way to LA.
Yeah.
And we're seeing all of our friends, Mania Club especially. A lot of y'all are on your planes now, on your way, and we're right behind you here. So I'm excited. I'm ready.
I am too.
Just about there. They're packed. I'm not. So I'm behind. So with that, let's get to it. We are going to break this up into 2 nights. We're not going to make you stand here for an hour and a half. Good Lord, even we don't want to do that. But anybody who watched Stand and Deliver, that episode came out a few hours ago. So if you haven't watched for NXT Stand and Deliver earlier on Saturday, those are out. The board's there. And then, of course, WrestleMania is here. As we noted on that, the OTRA is currently 3 ahead of Alyssa, 4 ahead of me, and they are 9 ahead of Kia. But there are over 20 matches on the card this weekend. So, you know, plenty of time for there to be some catch-up. And then because it is WrestleMania, it is actually a double pointer as it will open Season 4. In which case we'll have our 3 selves plus the Otras back at it again. So it's a chance to put a right ending on this past season, our first full season with Alyssa playing. And she just might be the best of us all. And then... you know, starting Season 4, let's do it all over again, leading to Philly at WrestleMania 40, where Kia hails from.
Woot woot.
You know, perhaps on the basketball courts, born and raised. If I sing any more of the song, I'll probably get a copyright strike. So, but let's move into night 1. We do have some fun on these, a little more work put into it, so we're going to turn off the lights here. But let's start with the opening match that's already been announced. Well. Excuse me.
You lied.
I feel like he's going to come after us, y'all.
Played.
Absolutely played. But, you know, if he is the host, he's probably going to have something planned for us to open the show. So, you know, but The Miz is hosting. I still think he's going to get a match somewhere along the way. But,
yeah.
So let me try this again. Hey, this is what happens when you pre-record. You know, we can edit that out if we need to. But I'll probably leave it because, you know.
No, leave it. It adds character and charm.
Blooper reel. All right, so let's try this again. The opening match of WrestleMania Night 1, and this is our projected card, by the way.
Yes. Boy, I'm loving this.
Yeah, we're going to try to use these little moving renders. We did it last year. People liked them, so we're going to stick with it this year. You?
Sure.
Cool. But we are opening. It was announced that the first match will be for the United States Championship. As Austin Theory, the incumbent champion, battles against the GOAT, the legend, the 16-time world champion in John Cena.
The seasoned veteran.
The seasoned vet, very well indeed. We're going to, because we do have a ton of matches, we are going to try to briefly move through these because, I mean, they've been hyping these up for weeks.
Yeah.
But the reality is, Theory comes out, you know, challenges John Cena. Cena initially says no.
Right.
Says, not because you're not a capable competitor and a capable champion, because you're not ready for this spotlight.
Right.
You're not ready for this moment. And the reality is, if you battle me at WrestleMania, I will beat the snot out of you in front of everyone. I'll take your U.S. title, and your career will be done before you even have a chance because you called your shot and you shot too high. So it's up to Theory at this point to put up or shut up. He's held the title. He's had a fantastic year in terms of his accolades, albeit with a failed Money in the Bank attempt, but 2 United States championships, and was consistently part of, threatening to cash in on Roman Reigns there for quite some time. But, I mean, you're up against the GOAT now.
Right.
I can tell you for a fact, as much as I love Austin Theory, you're no Carmelo Hayes. When he shoots his shot, he don't miss. As far as Austin Theory, I feel like Austin Theory opened up his mouth, barked up the wrong tree, and you're going against the seasoned vet. John Cena is not only good on the mic, he's good in the ring, he's good outside the ring, he's done ambassador work, and you've done, I'm not saying you haven't done that much, but, you haven't really done that much compared to John Cena, so, yeah.
Well, with what respects, the list of people who's done more of the accolades than Cena is pretty small.
Lord.
Alyssa?
All I'm saying is this is going to be a great match either way. And I think he did bark up the wrong tree, but we'll see how it goes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be. Have you seen John Cena wrestle in person?
Not in person.
Okay.
Wait.
You've seen matches.
Not in person, yeah. Like I said, I watched wrestling when I was little.
So
So that was
aware of
when,
John Cena
yeah,
when
that
he was
was when
younger.
John Cena came out, and I was like, oh, hello.
Rapper Cena.
Exactly. But
Thugonomics Cena.
live, no, I have
Pretend
not.
there's a brass knucks there.
Yeah, live, I have not seen.
Well, you're in for a treat,
I'm
and
in for a
hopefully he
treat.
does something. But, U.S. title, we're going to see. You're definitely going to open it up with a good bang.
Absolutely.
So, Alyssa, you're ahead on the board, so you'll get a chance to open the tallying here, and we'll just rotate around.
All right. So to keep it brief, I'm gonna go with Theory to retain. The only reason why I'm gonna go there, I know Cena is more talented, but it's like, can I see him getting the title when he has other responsibilities? So I just feel like it would benefit Theory more to win. So I'm gonna go Theory.
Gotcha. I'm up next. I'm gonna go Cena, and I mean he's the GOAT. I mean plain and simple. And the reality is, it's a situation where, Theory is calling for the big dog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is literally the biggest dog you can call at this point, short of maybe Roman Reigns. And the reality is that John Cena shows up at his best at WrestleMania. He's held that U.S. title. His open challenges have always been classics. I wouldn't mind seeing those come back for a little while. So you're either opening the show to, give everybody that big pop right off the bat by having Cena win the title, or Cena's got to fly somewhere and, he needs to get out of there quick before the airport's closed.
Gotta go.
I'm not sure which. I'm going to pull for the former, though. I think Cena wins, and I think he holds the title for a little while. Maybe Theory wins it back at Backlash, but I like Cena here.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I love Theory, but I love Cena even more. I've watched Cena, I've watched everything he's done from 2005 up till now. And again, you're messing with the wrong person. You literally came for his whole entire life when you were talking about his hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Don't forget the ball spot.
There is a theme between all that he does when it comes to hustle, loyalty, and respect, and the fact that you didn't even take the time to research that, it says something about you. So for me, it's going to be John Cena, and I would pick John Cena over anyone. Just saying.
It's true. I mean, she has been a Cena addict for, as long as as long as I've known you.
Yeah, I'm part of the C Nation.
There you go.
The C Nation. I love it.
All right, rotate.
That wasn't creepy at all.
I'll take that off your hands here. Kia will move to the camera, and we're going to get Alyssa her first look in the spotlight here.
Lord, here we go.
It does mean you move to the lights, though.
Jesus Christ.
This will be a working thing in progress. We're working on better lights. But either way, we're going to move into our second match. Not all of them have fancy ones, but... And like I said, most of ours I have video packages. I will say there's a lot more of them on night 2, so forgive us for that. But, not all of them had room on the card or, whatnot, or we'll sit here for 3 hours. But we move into the second match projected on night 1. And that is the 6-woman tag team match. The women's tag team champions Becky Lynch and the Hall of Famer Lita teaming with other fellow Hall of Famer Trish Stratus, taking on Damage Control, the team of Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. I mean, Trish and Lita's, WrestleMania accolades speak for themselves. Becky Lynch certainly no slouch herself in great WrestleMania matches, even in her young career. Bayley's had a number of great wins. But Io and Dakota making their first appearance in their current form. Dakota did appear once at 34 as part of the Battle Royal, but it was a pre-card match. Now you actually make it onto the main card. This has been a bitter rivalry between both sides. Damage Control feels like, they should have the spotlight. They lost the titles and now are kind of being judged for it. So we'll see who gets the upper hand here at Mania. Whoever.
I love women's matches. Y'all know that. That's like my go-to line for any women's match. I'm glad that Becky Lynch and Lita won the tag team women's title belts or whatever, and Trish, of course. You
gotta make them relevant.
You don't see Lita without Trish, and you don't see Trish without Lita, and so the fact that they are always together, that's that much more. Now, when it comes to Damage Control, Bayley's doing her best to run a stable team, and I feel like what Steven said is that they are bitter, and your girls lost the titles, and you don't know what else to do, so you're gonna beat them up and take them out before WrestleMania. They tried to take Trish out. Of course, she popped back up. Now she's as better as ever, and I just feel like this is going to be a great match.
I too think this will be a great match. Let me see. I have not watched them as long as you two have, so I'm not as familiar. But I know Becky can hold her own in the ring, and I know that they have been wiping tail. So we'll go with that. I mean, the reality is Damage Control doesn't really win when they're supposed to, and I hate that for them. Like when the lights get kind of bright, they kind of dim out. So
Fall flat.
a little bit.
To me, and to me, it's like as we get I'm gonna segue into my pick here. It kind of feels like this one's kind of just thrown together because you needed to get them on the card, but in a way, it's like Trish almost feels forced onto this rivalry.
Yeah.
And feels forced onto this one because you needed a third, and really no one else really made sense. Because the only other person you could reasonably put with Becky and Lita would have maybe been Bianca.
Yeah, I was about to say,
but Bianca has her own storyline to deal with. So it almost feels like Trish is here. And don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled to see her, because, I was an absolute Trish fanatic, growing up, still am. But it just seems like she's kind of pushed into this one. And I will piggyback on what you said, and it's why my pick is going to be Damage Control. Because I feel like they haven't been winning the matches they should have been winning. They feel disrespected. There's a lot of talks and a lot of feeling that, you possibly may see a nice swerve here, that Trish is really here because she wants a shot at Becky. So maybe this is the moment where Trish, maybe kind of without it being any part of this, just takes her shot. But we'll see what ends up happening. But I do feel like they're due for that big win. The losses they've been taking up to this point play a role. I'm going Damage Control. Kim?
I'm going to go the exact opposite. I feel like, again, when the lights are on the brightest, I feel like Bayley can handle it. Bayley's been here. She's done that. I don't feel like Io and Dakota can. Now, on the other hand, we have to understand Trish and Lita are Hall of Famers. I feel like they can handle the bright lights. I feel like Becky can handle the bright lights. I feel like they're going to be fine. And I don't feel like Trish is forced onto this team. Like I said, where you see Lita, you see Trish. And where you see Trish, you see Lita. And the fact is, they're together, and they're working together, and they're friends. The chemistry will be that much better. You cannot ask for more from best friends. Becky was just a bonus because she's been here, and she's great. So, my pick is Lita, Trish, and Becky.
All right, so I'm going to go Damage Control too. But it's going to be because, like I said, they win the matches that I don't want to say don't matter, but like the non-title stuff they'll win, the title stuff they'll lose. So I feel like since this is a non-title type thing, they'll go ahead and take the victory here, and they don't really need it. It's good,
right.
And it'd be good for that turn.
The career of the three of them is not going to be affected by a loss here.
This would boost them. This would give them that credibility we say they don't have. So
I like that. I really do. Rotate.
Rotate.
Nick here heads to the Kia heads to the lights. Let's see who's next. And with our third match, and again, these are the projected matches on what they believe will be night one. We could be completely dead, but there's a lot of discussion that this could be your main event of night one, as it will be a rematch of the NXT Women's Championship match from WrestleMania 36, as SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair defends against the Nightmare of Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley. If anybody who watched 36 knows exactly what it is. Rhea was the NXT Women's Champion at the time. Charlotte had just won the Royal Rumble. Ultimately, Rhea called her shot. She said, no, you don't need to take on Asuka. You don't need to take on, whoever the champions are. Becky Lynch at the time. You want me. Oh. You want me as the challenger. And finally, Charlotte got fed up with it and ultimately got herself in. There was a period of time where Bianca Belair was potentially involved in that story as well. And even Rhea said Charlotte put her in her place. But now 3 years later, this is a very different Rhea with now a potentially stronger and now refreshed Charlotte, who took some time off this year and immediately came back and on her first night back won gold. I think the biggest argument behind this one is that there's not much story that's been written towards this one other than there's mutual respect, but then at the same time, we're also going to go beat the snot out of each other. Let's see who gets it done, Charlotte and Rhea.
I'm glad to see Charlotte back. I know when we were doing our first Ultra Award, at the very end of the video, I asked where was Charlotte.
Oh, where is this girl
at? And dang it if we go and watch SmackDown and she shows back up. So I'm glad she was able to take some rest. She looked
like when segues work out.
She looked rejuvenated. She looked refreshed. She looks great. Married life looks good on her. And she came back and she won the women's championship. So good job for her. The fact is, she's standing tall. She's proud. And Rhea has been doing nothing but damage with Judgment Day. I feel like she's ready. I feel like, why won't you put the title on her? I feel like she's been screwed so many times, and now it's time for her to actually get what she's rightfully owed. So for me, again, there's not really no story build-up. The only story build-up I think I've seen was a whole thing where Dominic came out and started talking to Charlotte, and then Rhea comes out, and then they have that interaction. But other than that, that was all there was to it.
All I'm going to say is there was not a lot of build-up to this one, but I'm excited to see it.
Oh, yeah.
It's two hard hitters. They finna whoop the crud out of each other, and I'm excited to see it.
Look at their hands.
I know. That girl said I'm all business. Play with your boy, please. No. And she said, that's fine. I got you. Come here. Boom. Exactly. These are two of my favorite women to see compete, other than Bianca, of course, because
yes,
why not?
NXT. But we're not there yet. Let me go now. Come back. These two right here, I always feel like whenever they are involved in a match, it's like, it's a no-brainer. I know who I'm going to pick. Like, if I see Rhea versus whoever, I'm like, that's Rhea's. If I see Charlotte, oh, that's Charlotte's. And it's not even close. Now they're together, and I'm like, woo.
No pun intended.
This should be exactly. Literally. Yeah, I'm done.
But, anybody who goes back and watches that match at 36, of course, it opened night 2 inside the empty arena. Really, with respects, Rhea put up a good fight, but you can tell it was the seasoned vet in Charlotte that really, like even Rhea herself admitted, she put me in my place. Rhea looked like someone still in NXT, looked like someone still developing, even though she had been a good fighting champion. She ended a nearly 2-year Shayna Baszler reign before that. But Charlotte made her look like someone still in developmental. And that's no disrespect to what Rhea brought. The only thing Rhea seemed to have the advantage on that night was her gear. I'm sorry, there's only a handful of people who can pull off pure white. But
the reality is this is a different Rhea Ripley now. This is a Rhea Ripley that has not just found that confidence. At this point, she exudes it. You can see that purple aura just breathing off her. And this is, I'm not going to sit here and say that Charlotte hasn't improved herself, but I'm not sure that anyone in our women's division has taken a bigger step in the last year to year and a half than Rhea Ripley. And just watching her after get beat up by Beth Phoenix earlier in the evening, and then she enters at number 1 in the Rumble and runs the entire field. That's impressive. I'm not sure. Basically, we're trying to say the equivalent. Is Charlotte better than 29 other women combined? That's really the question here. Kia, you open this one.
So my pick, and like I said, I feel like Rhea has been screwed long enough out of the title that she wants, that she literally deserves. And you have to think, like you said, for a year and a half, she has become confident. She has built that confidence, and then on top of that, I feel like honestly, she is technically the leader of Judgment Day. Nothing against Finn, but who runs the segments?
Dominic.
Okay, talking about prison, yeah. So for me, Rhea is my pick. I love Charlotte, I really do, but I feel like it's Rhea's time.
Alyssa?
I really enjoyed Charlotte's little biography thing that they did for her.
Fantastic work.
I grew so much respect for her. Like, I already liked Charlotte, but that really sent it over the top. With that being said, though, this girl been kicking ass and taking names. For the last year. So, she was my pick at the Royal Rumble. I'm going to have to pick her again. I'm taking Rhea.
I'll complete the trifecta here. This is Rhea's moment. Rhea took the L at Mania 3 years ago, and you can tell that's what's fueling her right now is how far have I come? I've taken a chance 3 years. I've come to the main roster, won championships at WrestleMania. She beat Asuka 2 years ago and has won titles here in WWE, but yet it's the loss to Charlotte that still sits in her head. Yeah. And sometimes, and unfortunately I hate to say it, but Charlotte does that to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. That loss to Charlotte, you feel like she's the John Cena of the women's division. She is the one that you put yourself up against if you want to truly face the best. I don't care who's got the gold or not. It's Charlotte you've got to beat if you want to prove that you are truly the best. And, because you don't win a championship 14 times for nothing. Yeah. Unless you are very good at what you do. Argue the length of the reigns, whatever. In my opinion, argue with a wall. You don't get that title put on you 14 times if you're not good at what you do. But it's Rhea's moment to shine. She gets her revenge from 36, and she takes this one. We've got a new SmackDown Women's Champ. All right, shift again.
All right.
We are halfway through night 1 and doing pretty well on time, actually. So, let's see if we can keep it up or mess it up. You're shifting.
All right, let's see what's next, y'all.
Nice. Come on, mouse. There you are.
Boy.
Well, we went from big to big-est to here.
Big-est.
No question at all here. Easily the largest match of the weekend.
Dear Lord.
As the Beast Brock Lesnar will take on the Nigerian Giant Omos, MVP, squarely in the Giant's corner. This one has all the build of really a great match between two of the biggest names, literally and figuratively, that you can have in WWE. But I'm going to say something here as part of my intro into it. There are a lot of people who have watched Brock and Roman. That seems to be who Brock always goes up against, and then Brock and Bobby we've seen a couple of times. But the reality is, neither of those two, as good as they are the size of this dude.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, let's say, example for Alyssa behind the camera right now, we grew up watching him F5 The Big Show. We watched him F5 and 400-pound Mark Henry.
Ooh, Jesus.
These Umaga, Great Khali, we've watched him, F5 and folks of that size. We've been blessed with the fact that something like that has happened. But it's been a while since Brock has been up against a person who is just, frankly, bigger and stronger than he is. That doesn't happen often. There's only a handful of people who can put that claim. But when he finally does get him up for that F5, it's going to be a big deal. And there are a lot of young fans that are going to be out here in LA that may be seeing something like that happen for the very first time. You know, and much as I hate to say it, we saw Saudi Arabia where Omos dominated Braun Strowman for a good 15 minutes, then was hit by one move, and that was it. He's kind of gotten the reputation amongst the supporters and the fans as kind of having a glass jaw. He can, you know, he can deliver the pain, but really can't dish it, can't take that much damage before he's gone. And we know Brock can dish it in spades.
Whoa, what?
This one has quietly, very quietly, become one of my favorite matches to look forward to this weekend. I really thought this one was kind of a throw together, but I'm looking forward to this.
I like the fact that Brock has come back as a face because you rarely see it. And he's come back as Cowboy Brock, honestly.
Love to see it.
It's the second best Brock.
Yeah.
Outside of Boombox Brock.
Boombox Brock is still the best. I mean, come on.
But here's my thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's my sad dance for the show, so there we go.
I feel like he can dish the pain, but I feel like he can take it back. Him and Roman Reigns last year.
Oh, yeah.
Lord.
Wow.
Multiple times.
That was a clinic. And that was a clinic he came back from. And good for him that he did. And the build-up to this story has been funny. With MVP inviting Brock to the what's
the MVP lounge,
they call it White Lightning.
Yeah, and him
young kids, look it up. We won't explain it here.
Omos is great. We
do not condone underage drinking.
No, we do
not.
not.
He is tall. He is big. But again, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And it's just like you say in the forest. Can you hear the tree make a sound if it falls?
Well, I think you're going to hear the sound of a tree falling in the forest is going to be the sound of about 70,000 people letting that roof blow off the top.
I feel like we're going to hear the whole when Brock Lesnar took the Undertaker's streak. I feel like we're going to hear that reaction. That's the reaction I feel like we're going to hear with this match.
That's a killer reaction.
Yeah. So, Omos is great, but he's again, glass jaw. He can dish out pain, but he cannot take the pain. And even though MVP's in his corner, that's going to only do so much. Mm-hmm. Unlike Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns' corner, where I believe Roman can handle his business.
He be handling his business every time. Okay, anyway, back to night one. Excuse me. Let me get back on track. I think Brock is one of my top 5 people to watch live because you never know what you finna see, but all you know is it's gonna hurt whoever it is on the other side. That mess is crazy. I'd be like, all right now, when y'all break this ring, I don't want to hear it. When it comes to Omos, again, it's like he can dish it, yes. One little hit, it's David and Goliath at this point. Like, what? One little pebble, just boop, he on the ground. Good night.
And that's what it'll really come down to in this particular match, is can Omos deal enough damage? We know how much Brock can take because we've watched the wars with Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley over the last year and a half. So we know he can bring it and we know he can take it.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be one that, can Omos deal enough damage, to be able to get it done. Alyssa, you're up first?
No, we're going to go with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, and it's not even close. I'm so sorry.
I see.
Much love to you, player.
This has a Saudi Arabian feel all over, crown jewel all over again. I see Omos dominating for 85 to 90% of the match. Brock will look defeated a couple of times. I see Brock being the first person to kick out of the Nigerian plunge, which is his finisher. I see Brock potentially being the first person to kick out of that. And then it's gonna be, call it what he wants, but the F5 heard around the world.
Yeah.
But he's gonna nail him, and honestly, I feel like it'll be one of those. It's only gonna take one.
Yeah.
To get it done. But I agree. Brock goes over here.
I'm gonna go ahead and continue to ride this train, and pull for Brock because again, Brock's gonna get it done. Almost, not so much.
Not so much.
Best of luck to you, player.
We
believe in you.
He'll look good.
Oh yeah.
He's come a long way in 2 years.
Oh yeah.
He has come a very long way in 2 years.
From AJ Styles and him, yeah.
So I will give him all the credit in the world.
And
at some stage, they need to put gold on him. Whatever that means, United States title. Maybe he's the one who, takes out
Gunther
Cena or Theory or somebody else. Definitely has, it's believable. So I can see it.
Don't listen to me, y'all.
So we're Brock across the board here.
Yeah.
Shift.
Shift.
2 more left on this night. I just realized I'll end up behind the camera at the end, which is fine by me. So Alyssa, you've got the lights on this one. I'll make sure my spot's right. Let's see who's on match 5. And it's for the Raw Women's Championship. This one has already been stated it will fall on night 1. I don't agree with it. I don't. But it's not my call. I don't get the big bucks. If somebody would like to give me the big bucks to make these calls, I'll be happy to take it, and I'll happily make all those decisions. But right now it is projected to be on night 1, and it is the EST Bianca Belair, the longest reigning black champion in WWE history, male or female.
Yes, ma'am.
Taking on the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. The new look of Asuka has definitely brought fear into the eyes of her opponents. You definitely see that spark back in her again. She is now a woman to be feared. But also you have kind of like a Joker mentality here in the terms of, you're not really sure when you should take her seriously and when you should, be laughing and cutting up with her. But the reality is we know how good Asuka is in the ring. At the same time, the EST is called that for a reason. Bianca Belair, for over 340 days, has been the Raw Women's Champion, winning the championship from Becky at this exact same event last year. So she is on the brink of being the first woman ever to retain the same championship twice in the same reign. Becky Lynch gets credit for winning the Raw Women's Championship twice, but she won it on the first one and retained at the second one. Bianca's got an opportunity to match that, but it was just for that single championship. So, you're once again trying to set that history here, and you wonder, is this where Bianca has finally met her match, or does she continue her run? Kia?
I feel like she's going to continue her run. I want to see her continue her run and be not just the longest, but the longest reigning black women's champion. And, Asuka has come back with this new look, and it's scary, and her hair is short, and her face is painted, and her hair is, not as bright as it usually is. I feel like that's not Asuka. I feel like that's someone else, and that someone else has come back to scare all of the women's roster, scare them back. And she wants to start with Bianca. And I don't feel like Bianca's going to give her that satisfaction. Why? Because she's the EST, and the EST is going to do everything to her fullest and her bestest.
I love it. Well, I just want to note one thing for myself. This is not the first time Bianca has gone up against Scary or whatever. She just took on Alexa, and it was like
Business handle, and
exactly.
let's move on.
And let's move on. So I have no doubts. The EST always comes through and always looks great doing it. Please don't play yourself.
I can't wait to see her outfit this year.
I'm so excited.
Oh, side note on what you said, by the way, get well soon, Alexa. Anybody who needs to know her story, Google it, but, get well soon.
All due respect.
I do know they've already made announcements. Because first of all, I'm going to mention 2 things here about Bianca. First of all, her render going back to her very first pay-per-view outfit. That was the outfit she wore for her very first NXT pay-per-view, braids and all. So kind of going back to the roots of where it all started, so to speak. But I also have already been informed through our various social media posts that they are planning another very large entrance for Bianca Belair this year. She had the TSU band last year that brought her out, and it was just wonderful, magnificent. I think she enjoyed it very much. We sure did. Whether they'll give Asuka one of similar quality will be to see. But I look forward to this one and to see what comes up. I opened this one. This one was a tough one for me to pick because there aren't a lot of challengers that you can legitimately pick against Bianca Belair. But it's WrestleMania, and if you're ever going to reset the podium, here's where you're going to do so. However, I am going to take Bianca Belair to retain here, and the reason being is because she's on this historic trend. Asuka is not going to lose out on any momentum because of it, albeit she still has not won a match at WrestleMania yet, so she's kind of going the anti-Undertaker streak here. But she has been able to, be in tough matches. She obviously earned the right to get a Raw Women's Championship match here at WrestleMania. So this is nothing to be feared at, and I do feel she's going to bring her best, but I don't anticipate that Bianca is going to be fazed by it. My only question is this going to be the live event where someone finally kicks out of the KOD? Because that still is the only protected finisher left in WWE now that the End of Days has been kicked out of. So it's the only protected finisher left, and I mean, come on, if people like Piper Niven and Nia Jax can't kick out of it, I don't want to see Asuka be the one to do it. So we'll see, but I'm going Bianca.
Bianca.
It took 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's all you needed?
Yes.
Okay.
Bianca for me too. Straight across the board.
All right. Well, I wish we could say we're bringing a little more fun rivalry to this, but I mean, hey, we pick who we pick. Okay.
Not much to talk
Shifting
about.
one last time for night one here. It is our last one. This is not our projected main event per se. It is just the 6 matches that have been announced for night one, and it's a doozy. And also what was officially announced on the Raw leading in, Seth Rollins announcing that this will be, in fact, on night one. I could see it main eventing. I don't think it will personally, but I think but this to me is your match of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Seth Rollins needs no introduction. He needs no thing. If you, right now, and I've been saying it for years, if you need to introduce someone to professional wrestling, not just WWE, but professional wrestling, you show them a Seth Rollins match.
Yeah.
Pick your opponent. Literally choose. Give him a match with, one of the Cody Rhodes matches. Give him any match he's ever had with Dolph Ziggler. And watch the two of them work, But show them a Seth Rollins match and you'll make them a fan. And then on the flip side, you've got Logan Paul, who, of course, is coming off ligament damage to his knee, but was cleared in time to be able to compete. And what a good opponent to get at WrestleMania. He's impressed me. He really has, because Logan Paul was a person that very much similar to other celebrities we've seen, such as Bad Bunny a couple of years ago, and then Logan Paul last year. He's got to earn the respect of that WWE universe. And Bad Bunny and Logan Paul have done exactly what you need to do if you want to be that celebrity name here in WWE. You've got to show that you can do it in the ring. And he has. He's gone up against some of the best. You've seen him take on the Mysterios, teaming with The Miz. Then he beat The Miz. And then he went toe-to-toe for 25 minutes with the Tribal Chief. Granted, in a loss. But he proved that he is capable of doing what he can do and doing it at the top level. And now you get a guy who has won it all, done it all, faced them all. Seth Rollins. This is the ultimate chance for a feather in Logan Paul's cap, or a chance to finally not be, as he considered, the clown, if Seth Rollins can get it done. What do you think?
Are we doing picks right now?
No, just preview.
Again, Seth Rollins is one of the best. I would say he falls under John Cena. I'd say he would fall under The Rock. He would even, honestly, fall under Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has taken it a step higher than Seth, but that's not the point. The fact is, you can put him with anyone, and he will go toe-to-toe, and it'll be a clinic. Logan Paul has come in and taken this job seriously. Him and Bad Bunny, I'm not going to put it past you. You want celebrities to come in and you want them to take it seriously? Look at these two. Go off with anybody. I'm not going to lie. I think everybody's catchphrase has become bye-bye bitch. Thank you, Seth Rollins.
We said that when we were all getting out of work for the last day. Bye-bye, bitch.
Yep. So, but Logan Paul, he's here. He's done what he's supposed to do. I don't bring him no ill will. Y'all tied up.
Cool.
A bit. Seth also falls on my list of favorite men to watch wrestle live. You never know what this man's gonna come out in. You always know you're gonna have fun whenever his song plays. You chant it out. One of my favorite people to see live. As far as Logan Paul is concerned, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I did not think he would do as well as he's been doing. You know, I honestly thought this man was gonna come in, get his behind handed to him on a silver platter, and that was gonna be it.
No.
He's been holding his own. And I'm telling you right now, I did not expect that. He has his one move, his punch. Seth been using some of them punches now. But he went on the floor like that. But that's not the point. Seth's promo this past week really it took it over the top. And it made me more invested in this match than I was before, and I was already invested.
And you saw it by sitting here saying, you know, like, and you could see his mindset say, okay, it's WrestleMania now.
Yeah.
You know, the fun's over. I poked my fun. They've been beating up on The Miz, you know, getting him involved in all of this. But you could see, like, the switch flip, you know, on that particular night. And he finally just said, okay, he's been making me look like a clown. He's knocked me out 2 weeks in a row. But if I can't beat him, I'm the clown.
Yeah.
Because he knows. And I don't think there's a single person who's going to argue. Yeah. I think even Logan himself, if you truly look down in his soul of souls, I don't think even he would argue that he's a better wrestler than Seth Rollins. You know, so he knows he's better. But he has to find a way to go over in this, which leads into the picks. I am going to go with Seth Rollins here. You know, I've ridden that train all year. Why stop now? I'll burn myself one more time maybe. Seth Rollins for the last 18 months has done everything this company has asked him to do. Yep. He has jobbed to Cody Rhodes 3 separate times. He has jobbed to Roman Reigns by running a fantastic story with him. You've then had him end up on the wrong end of Bobby Lashley. You've ended up on the wrong end of Austin Theory. You know, he got a very short U.S. title run in there, finally getting a chance to put his plates on Plate Exchange. Thank you for finally letting me dust off those things. My Lord, that had a lot on him. But, you know, we finally got a chance to show those off for a little while. This man has done absolutely everything the company has asked him to do. And he has taken L after L after L. He has the most losses of anyone in 2022. And he actually has the third most in 2023 right now. So, you know, the fact is, you know, for you to still be considered in running for Superstar of the Year despite having the most losses tells you how good you are. Yeah. No one's going to question his pedigree. It was 8 years ago today, by the way, Kia, that he did the heist of the century. Yep. We were there in San Francisco to see that, but that was 8 years ago today. You know, so I mean, he's got another chance to put another great legendary card in here. Logan's going to show out. He is. But he's not going to beat Seth Rollins. Rollins goes over.
Seth Rollins.
Her picks are very brief, I notice.
Yeah. Again, been riding this train for a while. Still gonna stay on the same bandwagon, burned or not. We're gonna Seth.
Well, again, as I said, you know, I wish I could say we were adding a little bit of parody to everything and, you know, making things a little more challenging for us. But we're going to take a short break here and go ahead and put us here because we're at the halfway point. But that is the projected night one for us. You know, we'll put the other one up, drop it in about an hour and a half or so. But we're going to take a small break here, go get something to drink, and then we will be back to give you guys night 2. So stick around with us, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Bye. Peace.